Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Are you?
I am,
That's
this voice
good.
tells it all.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, don't let the voice fool you.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel okay. I feel better
That's good.
today than I have felt in the last few days.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. He's really trying to be outside too.
I'm trying to go outside. I thought, you see how I got dressed? I got dressed for the sun. Like the sun was
It's
still
funny.
out. The sun was out. I'm all at home. Like I'm stuck in this bed. My nose is running. My voice is gone. I sound horrible, but I feel okay.
You sound better today. You look better today.
Yeah, thank you.
But who
I
are
had to
you?
get up and do something.
Yeah.
Like I gotta wash my face, do my hair, and try to look normal when I go outside because I'm going outside.
What's your name?
My name is Kennitha Wade, and you are joining us on Talk to Them.
Talk to them.
And who are you?
I am Renauda Mitchell. And a little bit about me. I am a mother, an artist, and sleepy.
Sleepy on a Sunday.
Yes.
Early
it's this
morning.
weather on this side of town.
Yeah, I think one thing we could definitely keep practicing is our introduction.
Yeah, we
right?
keep.
To figure out what it is we want to share and how we tie that into what our podcast is going to be about.
Mm-hmm.
So what is our podcast going to be about?
Talk to Them is about speaking mainly to elders, but also to other folks that have interesting stories to kind of get their life experiences and whatever kind of wisdom they would like to pass on to the masses as it is for our audience.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm trying to save my voice, so I'm going to make you talk today.
Okay.
We're going to hear from Renauda.
We're going to hear from both of us.
So this weather, yesterday was so nice. I was
beautiful.
so determined to go outside.
I was not letting her go outside.
Renauda came over. She just came to the rescue.
You do not need to be outside.
She was like, we can sit outside. I'm not sitting inside.
Not coming in the house.
The house. Okay, that's fine. So we sat outside. We played games.
Like Kennitha,
chill, talking. Yeah, the sun was out. I was ready to go outside. I was. And then when she left, I was like, I'm so happy that she came over because I ain't got no business being outside.
At all.
But I was ready to go.
You was.
I'm going outside.
She was like, I'm going outside. I'm sick of people telling me what to do. Like, if everybody's telling you you should not be outside, maybe shouldn't be outside.
Oh, man. Then I was up. I don't know why. I was up late last night.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was like, why am I still up? What time did Renauda leave? Like, I don't think it was that late.
It wasn't. I left at like 9 something, I think.
I have no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, because you texted me and I was like, I was asleep already. And I was like, why is she still up?
I don't know.
Well, I still got up with the, I still have a 4:30 alarm set.
Okay.
And then a 6:30 alarm set. One was when we originally was like, oh, we're going to be at the gym at 5 o'clock every day. Then we found out they not open at 5 on the weekends. I never turned that one off. But then the 6:30 one is still set for the stairs.
Okay.
So I woke up. The first one I ignored, but the 6:30 one, I like kind of woke up a little bit and went to the bathroom, came back. And I'm like, why is she texting me at 1 something in the morning? Why is she not asleep? What is she doing?
I was just up. I think G came back with the kids. I don't know what time. Oh, at 2. What I told you.
You did. You said 2 o'clock in the morning.
I said, when he came back, he said, I kidnapped your kids. I said, I know. I told Renauda you was going to do that. He started laughing. I said, you kidnap anybody. You get somebody in your car. That's it. No, nobody's safe. He said, they was all right. They went to his cousin's house, which I'm like, dang, I ain't seen her in so long. Yesterday was her birthday.
Oh.
Yeah, Tay Shantae, but
you shouldn't have been outside anyway.
Man, so I know.
You're going to get her sick for her birthday?
I don't want to get her sick for her birthday, though. But I want to go see her because I haven't seen her in a long time. But I was a little bit jealous. Like, dang, I didn't get to go see Tay because I ain't go outside.
Yeah. Yesterday was beautiful. Today is different. I mean, not that it's not a beautiful day, but when I walked outside, I was like, okay, it's not warm. It's not cold. I'm going to put my jean jacket on, going about my business. Then I got over here and it was like a whole different world. Like I was saying, I was like, is the pavement always darker over here? Like, what's that? Because it wasn't actually raining, but everything looked darker. And I'm like, what is happening? That was so weird. I was like, okay. Then I got closer over here and I started seeing like a lot rain. Well, I guess rain coming off the trees. And I was like, oh, okay. It did rain. Like I said, I'm sleepy.
Man, I thought it was going to be like it was yesterday. Yesterday was nice.
It was.
Like the sky was clear. It was blue. The sun was out. It felt good. It was like, this is amazing. So I was like, I'm put on a dress today. I don't never put on no dress. I'm going to put on a dress today. Looked out the window. Was like, okay, it's not bad. I can see the sun. And then when I walked out the door, I said, is it just sunny in the back side of the house?
Which is possible.
It was the front side of the house raining. So I was like, oh, man, I don't know if I'm ready for no dress in the rain all day.
It's not a way to kick off the summer for real.
It's not. It is officially summer.
It's officially summer. Kids is out of school.
What are your kids going to do for the summer?
I don't know. I keep trying to, because, I still got to work. So there's like a few different programs I've been looking into. But they're going to have to do something because they're not going to just sit at home. Otherwise, they're going to be like, can I go to the park? Can I have some money? Can I go to the park? Can I have some money? And that's what they're going to do every day. And we're not doing just that. But at least they do be wanting to get outside, I guess.
Yeah.
They do want to go places and do stuff. But well, they got bus passes. So, I mean, they can be out in the streets. I just don't want them out in the streets.
See, my kids, I don't know. They don't have no bus passes. They don't need one. They don't ain't going nowhere. But I'm like, y'all ain't about to just sit in this house and eat all day, eat cereal all day long, and then make a mess and leave it there for me to clean up when I get home from work. Nope.
Yeah.
I'm not with it. So I got to find something for them to do. But I think about like when we were kids, I felt like there was a lot more to do, right? There was a lot more stuff at parks, free stuff. You get up in the morning, you can go out all day and be out and about. You're not at home. Your parents is at work, but there was something to do. Or summer school wasn't as hard to access.
Get into. Yeah,
that it is now. Now it's like they're being very selective in the schools, which I totally understand. I know that there are some students who maybe need that extra support more than others. And I think my kids tend to fall into that category.
Yeah, mine too.
But at the same time, it's like you don't really hear about it unless your kid needs that resource or unless the school feels like your kid needs that resource. And then it's like, well, what else are they supposed to do this summer? I would almost advocate for year-round school, really.
And just have 2 weeks off in the summer, 2 weeks off in the winter, 2 weeks off in the spring. Like each quarter, just give them 2 weeks off. But because at this point, like you said, when we was younger, I was in all kinds of stuff. We had the Boys and Girls Club. We had tag. We had, not tag, the TLC Club. There was all kinds of random stuff. I know like my cousins then went to SEI and like there was just all kinds of stuff going on everywhere. And even if you wasn't in any of that stuff, you can go to any park. They had their free lunch program, but all the free lunch programs had activities.
Right.
Like, most of us was into doing GIMPs.
Right.
And
I got so many GIMPs.
Like you was really dope if you could get the one that
the spin. Yeah.
I never really got that far, but I was like, listen, you gonna get this. I could do the bigger ones, the ones that's more like rectangles, but I never got into the one that swirl. But you know what I'm saying? Like there was just stuff, and I feel like also the family structure was different when we were younger. So like aunties lived close, uncles lived close, cousins, whatever. So you go outside, all your family is in your neighborhood.
Right.
Or you talked to your cousins last night, y'all all meeting up at like ours was Alberta Park or it was pretty much Alberta Park for all of us. We all gonna meet over here at this time. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna go from there. We're gonna go to the store, we're gonna come back, we're gonna play baseball, we're gonna basketball. Even if you come back to that neighborhood after the park, we playing sports in the streets. You could skateboards. Like there's just so much to do. And for one, I feel like even though there was a lot going on in the streets back then, the streets were still safer in a way. Because
I think you knew everybody. Everybody knew everybody.
Yeah.
It seems like back in the day. Now, I don't feel like I know anybody in my neighborhood. And I know that's mostly because I moved.
I know my neighbors, and that's it, like my direct neighbors. And the only reason we got to know them is because they are Halloween fanatics, and so was my child. And she was like, what are they building? What are they doing? Like, my neighbor goes all out. He builds like Halloween at his house. And so she went and he did a little haunted house that came extended onto the street last year. And I was like, my daughter would love to be involved in whatever building process. And he was like, you think she'd want to come put bloody handprints everywhere? I said she absolutely would. So she got paint and went and like splattered stuff and wrote messages in blood and like, you know, Halloween is hers. That's her jam. So, but other than that, I don't know the rest of my neighbors. The ones next to me, they wave and I wave, but I'm like, that's pretty much how I like neighbors. You know what I'm saying? I know that you ain't gonna let nobody break in my house, but also you're not gonna stop me on the sidewalk to have a conversation.
Right.
But I feel like the reason why neighbors were different back then was because of how our neighborhoods were set up. Like it was mostly all Black folks, right? So we all grew up, not only did we grow up together, but our parents grew up together. And their parents came together in these neighborhoods or whatever. So
it was like generations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now since gentrification and all kinds of other stuff, it's not set up like that. And I think that trust and those bonds are not built the same way.
Right. I agree with that. I miss those times though.
Me too.
I see a lot of stuff about homesteads and like, you know, building your own little community. It's like, I think I really do want to do that. But I don't know who all can be in the community. You know what I mean? Because everybody can't be. Everybody don't want to be in your backyard. You don't want to be in everybody's backyard. Right. But at the same time, I would love for everybody to be close enough, like we can be together without driving 45 minutes, 30 minutes to go visit somebody. Like be around the corner or across the street or whatever. I really want to live in a community where we're all close. And then
like we used to be.
We can have those boring moments together. Yeah. Instead of I'm stuck in the house all weekend because I got a cold.
Going back, you still feel some type of way?
Because I was so looking forward. We had plans. Do you guys ever have those moments where I seen this thing on Instagram and it was somebody saying that when guys have fun, they just have fun, right? They don't plan it out. They just do the thing.
Just go.
Whatever.
What you doing? Let's go.
And then women have to plan it. And it's like, well, that's true. But why is that so true?
Because I feel like we have more to juggle usually, right? We are usually the ones with the kids. We gotta, you know, we run the house, how the house works and stuff like that. We have to make plans for everybody else and everything else before we can, you know, do for us. And that's just the way our brains work usually when we run a house. I feel like when I was younger, before kids and stuff like that, I don't think I had to make plans like that. It was just call your friends. What are you doing today? You want to go to the beach? Yeah. You want to go to Tacoma? Yeah. Like, you know, it wasn't as planned. But once I had kids, it was like, or even before I had kids, but I had friends and cousins and stuff that had kids, you know, you can't just jump and go. You got to find something for this baby to do. Or can the baby go? Or, you know, like our kids are older now, but still, they still need something to do. Or you need to be like, okay, I'm going to have to be gone for 4 hours. Right. And while I'm gone, you need to do this, and this, because you ain't did that. Or if y'all want to do something, you know what I'm saying? We're not just planning for us. And I feel like that's why a large part of the reason why we have to plan, whether we have kids or not, is because usually somebody got kids, you know, and it's got to, and, you know, and as an adult, your lives are just so much busier somehow. And it's like, well, when do you have time? Because, you know, kids got sports. Right. You know, which takes up a lot of your time. When they have sports, you have no life when they have sports. Facts. And, you know, then they have their friends. They can't or shouldn't be driving. And, and, you know, so you are their chauffeur. So I feel like for a lot of guys, it's just more like if they're in a relationship, married or whatever, it's just like, hey, I'm about to leave. You need anything? Right. And then you just be like, if you need something, say something. If not, then no. And it just, because you're the caretaker. Right. I feel like in my mind, it's like responsibility comes first before anything else. And it's hard for me to not consider the responsibility of being a parent or paying the bills or whatever, all the things that we have to be mindful of. Like you can't just not think about that stuff. Right.
Because it doesn't go away regardless of whatever I want to do, right? The bills don't stop just because I want to go outside.
Right.
Or, like the kids are not hungry just because I want to go outside, But I don't know. But it is frustrating to think about. It's like, man, why do we as women carry this big burden? I feel like, and I don't want to say that it's a burden, but sometimes it feels like it, of making sure we're the ones taking care of all the responsible things. And we don't get to have fun. And our fun always comes, not second, third, fourth. It's almost last. It's the last thing that we tend to make time for.
Yeah.
But it's the first thing that we truly need so that we can have the energy to do the things that we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I talked to my cousin. My cousin is a nurse, by the way. And this past weekend, we both came down, I think about the same day, started not feeling good. And she's worked in 3 days or maybe 4 days. She's got like 80 hours or something at work, and she's still going to work for the rest of the week. And so I wake up on Wednesday and I'm like, I feel a little bit off, what's going on? And so throughout the day, whatever, I go to work and I end up going home and I'm talking to her, and then she's like, my body just started hurting out of nowhere today, right? And I was like, oh, maybe you getting sick too. And she was like, I don't know. Well, I'm going to go to work, though, at so-and-so time. I'm like, what? You going to go to work? She's like, yeah, I got to go to work. And I'm like, no, you need to find out what's wrong with you, because that's different. I go to work. I work around adults they're not sick. They're not compromised. Not that I don't want to get them sick, because they can't miss any days from school. And so it's important for me to really pay attention to how I feel, because I don't want to spread anything to people. But I'm like, you are around people who have compromised immune systems. And, yes, whatever it is you're treating them for, it could be a life-threatening thing, like she works in dialysis.
Yeah.
And so, okay, but why are you going to work? And she's like, well, they can't find cover. And I'm like, okay, why is that your problem?
Yeah. Not
to say that you shouldn't think about that, but at the same time, you're going to put them at risk, because that somebody needs to find coverage. It's not your responsibility to fill in when you are sick. And if it weren't for, I think her boyfriend went and got her a COVID test and brought it to her, and she tested positive.
Yeah.
When a whole bunch of people at her job were already coming down with COVID, so they were short-staffed. Okay, I get it. But then you going to come in and you might have COVID, and you going to get these people sick because they need this life, like, no.
It's, I used to be that person. Not saying I wanted to just go get people sick, but like regardless of how I was feeling or what I was going through, like I gotta show up because they need help, or especially when you're in a job where you're serving people in one way or another, you kind of do feel obligated to show up because you don't want to let people down. But at the same time, when you don't take care of yourself, I was in a situation where I was taking care of everybody and everything else over myself. And somebody, I don't remember who it was, but somebody was like, if you don't take care of you, if you don't take time to sit down, your body will sit you down. And I was like, I'm fine, blah, 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 blah. But, I think I'm fine because I can still go. But people are looking at me like, no, you don't seem fine. And ended up in the hospital because I would not chill out. I was trying to take care of everything else, and I'll do it. I got it, blah, 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 not because I was trying to seem like the best employee or best person ever, but I didn't want people's needs to not get met.
Right.
But it's like, if you're not meeting your needs, then you're not meeting your children's needs, which at the end of the day, that's more important than these folks at this job.
Yes.
And if you don't take care of yourself, you might not be here to meet anybody's needs.
Right.
Now your kids are traumatized for life. So.
Because what?
Because you had to go to work.
Right. And I felt like, because I was home from work, that I could talk all the mess. I was talking all the mess.
Because you was at home.
I'm at home texting her, you need to stay at home. You need to do this.
But
and I'm not trying to get outside,
though.
But
at the same time, she telling you to stay home.
Right. But I get it. Your job, I understand. I do. But you need to be a little more on them. Like, y'all need to find coverage. Now, I went to work on Wednesday, right? Because again, I think I was in denial. I was like, I woke up, I sounded a little bit like this, and I was like, what is this?
You sounded way worse than you sound right now. Because I was like,
but I didn't feel sick. I just
and you didn't look
weird.
sick. But I was like, you all right? You was like, yeah, I just woke up and my voice is like this. I was like, okay. You seemed fine at the gym, but your voice didn't sound good.
We got to work. I got to work, and I was like, I don't really know what's going on with me, but apparently I'm sick. And luckily, how my job works, we have terms or quarters, I guess, where we have students that come in for like 10 weeks at a time. So they're in this transition period between one quarter and another. Oh. So most of the instructors that I work with don't have students right now. Okay. Right. So this is the time in between. A lot of people take vacation or people are just there, but there's people in the building, they're available. So my job is a little different than everybody else's. I have classes that last for 2 weeks at a time. And lately they've been back to back to back to back to back. So I have to be there regardless of whatever because I still have students. But if I'm not there, there are other people in the building who are available to fill my spot. So they're like, oh, we got options today. I'm like, cool. I'm going to go back home. Yeah. I stayed at work for maybe an hour. It was like, yep, I'm going to get back into bed then. And I went and got back. I ain't been back to work since. Now, so that's why I can talk all the mess. You need to take your butt home, but here I am trying to be outside.
But
I'm like, at the same time, I said, she got COVID. I don't have COVID. Right. I got tested. I feel like I did the responsible thing. Okay?
You did.
I got a strep test. It was negative because my daughter has strep throat right now. And so I thought maybe I was mad at her. I thought she gave me strep. I was like, girl, this is why I tell you stay your butt in your room and do this, and this. Like, don't be out here getting me sick. Yep. I can't get sick. And she's like, Mom, I didn't get you sick. And like, we just happen to be not feeling good
at the same time.
Right. You've already been not feeling good for a week. And so I took her and got a strep test. So I went and got a strep test. They said, no, it's negative. I was like, how?
Because
if she didn't get me sick, then who got me sick? And then my cousin ended up sick. And I was just at her son's graduation party. I didn't go to his graduation. We went to eat afterwards. And so I met up with them there. But we wasn't really around each other that much. But I'm like, okay, did she give me COVID? And I take a COVID test and they said no. And I'm like, okay, well, what is this? Because this is not cool.
It's just a cold. There are still colds out there.
I didn't know that.
Right. You forget that because they're like, COVID, it's going to kill you.
If it's not COVID, if you can't put a name on it, it don't exist. Well, that's what it feels like.
It does because that's been predominantly every time somebody's sick, they either got COVID, pneumonia, the flu, or strep. And if it ain't that, then it's like, well, then what's wrong with you?
Right.
In that case, it's like, it's got to be just allergies. Like, no, but allergies don't make your whole body feel like.
I think it might be a sinus thing because my nose is so dry. It hurts. Last night, I had to turn the fan off because I finally was like, is the fan drying on my nose? I have Vaseline all in my nose. I'm like, it felt like it was burning, kind of a hurt. And it's like, I have never felt that until this last time. Anyway, but whatever. I'm fine. I could be outside. Now I'm only here because we in this little room. It's me and Renauda.
You sound better though, and you look better.
I feel better.
You sound like yourself today.
Yeah, I need this stuff to go away though. It's got to get out.
Yeah.
Eviction. It's got to go.
So speaking of these children and being out of school and finding things for them to do and the differences between what we used to do. I live kind of close to one of the, because I moved around a little bit, like more than a little bit when I was younger. And I drove past these apartments we used to live in. I just remember one summer, I don't know how we ended up doing this. We had this it felt like a 24-hour water fight. Okay. Balloons, squirt guns. Like, I don't know what was going on. Everybody's mamas somehow was able to get everybody some sort of super soaker. We was filling up balloons and all the kids in the neighborhood came to our apartments and we are just, I'm pretty sure people was going and taking naps and some most stuff, but we was coming back out and the fight was still going on. Okay. Sun went down, sun came up, we still going at it. I don't know how that happened or how they allowed that, but we was having a good time. And I was just like, I want my kids to be able to experience that, but it feel like I don't think they would have that in the same, like, energy. But just thinking about it, like, I was like, so much stuff was popping up when I was going through that. Like, oh, we got to get all the kids together and take them to the park and let them just go crazy with each other. Well, obviously we can participate too, but then I was thinking about the people in that were my like real friends back then. I don't know any of them anymore. It's like we moved around a lot, and I went to, a few different schools. Like, well, I guess when I was younger in elementary school, no matter where we lived, I went to Vernon. But then when we moved to Tacoma, it was different. Every time you moved to a different neighborhood, it was a whole different school. And I don't know if it's because we was using my grandma's address, so that's why we was always able to stay at Vernon. But it just, so as an adult, it became important to me to keep my kids in the same schools as much as possible, because I just remember just bonding with people, and then the next year you live in somewhere else. So now you got to make all new friends. And then again in a year or two or whatever, you're moving again. And I did not want that for my kids.
Right.
Because really, like, I know a lot of people who are like, I've had all these friends since elementary school, and we went to elementary and middle and high school together and kept in touch through college. And I'm like, I don't have that.
Yeah. I feel like I did too. I moved around a lot as a kid. I think elementary schools alone, I went to at least 3. And then there was a period when I was in foster care, so I didn't go to school, but I was in a group home, and so I had to go to school at the group home. So that, to me, that equals 4. But I definitely tried my best to not do that to my kids. Like, wherever I moved, I would try to keep them at the same school. But the only thing, it became hard when, COVID, then they were doing online school. But when we moved during COVID, we moved to Gresham. We still kept them at their school because it was online, and it was like, well, they can. I don't want to switch them schools if I don't have to.
Right.
But then Mariah was going to middle school, and so that transition was like, well, let's get her started at a new school, and then we put G and Mayana in the elementary school by our house. So they went to 2 different elementary schools, but that was also hard. No matter where we lived, we would. I can't say I would, because I work early mornings. I've always worked early mornings, so I'm leaving the house at 5 in the morning. Ain't nobody going to school at 5 in the morning. But G would have to get up and take the kids to school, and he would take them all the way across town. And we lived in Southeast, but it was like, well, we don't want to move them from school. They went to Boise, so he used to drive through the traffic every day. They'd be late getting to school, but it was for we didn't want to switch them. We didn't want to switch them to a school we're not familiar with. We don't know these people.
Right.
I don't know no students in this school. Nobody in our area looked like these people. And so now, as Mariah is transitioning to high school, I think about that. Like, I only went to one high school, and I like that.
I did too. That's the only one I didn't switch.
Figuring out one high school, to send them to, and then really thinking like this summer, either we got to move or something. I don't know. Do we want to stick them in Gresham High School? Do we want to put them in Centennial High School? My husband, G, wants them to go to Jefferson. And I'm like, we live in Gresham. What are we about to do? And it's going to be 2 of them going to high school this year. And so I think keeping them in the right school or in the area is good. But at the same time, it's like, how many different schools did I go to? I have so many different childhoods that I don't remember. Like, friends that I made friends with, that I remember them a little bit. People used to remember me, and it was like, well, I went there for a little bit. I went to Tubman. I went to Beaumont. I went back to Tubman. I went to MLC, Metropolitan Learning Center downtown. And then Jeff, Jeff was the last school. It didn't matter where I lived. I was going to Jefferson. I lived in Tigard, and I would drive to Jefferson every day as a sophomore or as a junior. I lived with my boyfriend. It was like, so I'll drive to Jeff because I'm not switching schools.
Yeah.
But now the schools are different.
They're not.
It's not the same. Yeah, everything is different about them. The teachers in there are different. the schools are a lot more mixed now, at least in our neighborhood where we come from, right?
Yeah.
The schools where I live currently, I feel like my kids are just a couple of the few black kids in the schools. And I don't know. My daughter, I don't know.
Yeah, my kids, well, they still go to school in Northeast, so it's a good amount of black kids there, but it's way more white kids there than it was when any of the generations of my family went through those schools. I didn't go to middle school here. I didn't go to high school here, but I went to high school with a melting pot of people because in Tacoma, you got whoever lives there, but you also have, well, now it's one base, but it used to be Fort Lewis and McCord, the Army base and the Air Force base, bringing all kinds of people through there. So we grew up with like just from the end of elementary for me all the way up through high school with all kinds of people. But it wasn't, I only went to one predominantly white school. Excuse me. And that's when we moved to Nebraska for like a couple of months.
Okay.
So after my cousin passed away, my mom was like, we need to get out of here. We went to go visit my aunt in Nebraska. She's in the Air Force. So was my uncle. They retired there. They got a base out there. So we are one of 2 black families in the neighborhood. And we were also, me and my brother were 2 of 4 black students in a school that went from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. And it was like 1,500 kids in that school. And there was 4 black students.
Okay, then.
Besides that, and the racism we experienced and the fact that it was colder there when it rained than it is here when it snowed, it was like, we got to go. We cannot be here. We was crying, asked my mom, like, can we please go back to Portland? Can we please go back? My mom was like, we can go back to the West Coast, but we're not going back to Portland. That's how we ended up in Tacoma.
Okay.
But I went to a school on the military base. I went to a couple of other elementary schools. And like to this day, there's maybe, well, Facebook has been kind of a gift in a way because I've been able to connect with some folks, but I have like maybe 5 people that I, grew up with during that time. But it's mostly the people that I met from my last elementary school through high school that I'm connected with. But most of those friends that I made, I don't remember a lot of them. There's no like long-term connections. People will remember me because, it's easier to remember the new kid than it is for the new kid to remember everybody.
Yes.
And I'm like, I be feeling bad because to this day, people are like, oh, hi, Renauda. And I'm like, hi. I'm like, whoever I'm with, I'm like, I don't know who that is. And I feel bad, but people say like hi to me like they definitely, we had some sort of interaction.
Right.
So, hi. Sorry, I can't remember who you are.
Yeah.
But if people will be like, you don't remember me, huh? And I'm like, nope. But if they don't ask, then I'll just leave it alone.
Well, you kind of look familiar.
Yeah, I'm like, your face look familiar, but that doesn't tell me anything.
Right.
So I don't forget faces, but I don't know. I wanted my kids to kind of be, bonded with whatever kids they came up with or whatever. But it also seems like kids don't make friends the same way and they don't stay as close and as bonded as like we did. Like friendships were serious to us when we were younger. Like
they were necessary.
Yes. I don't think they have that.
It does feel very different. Cause my last elementary school was Humboldt. I had went to Beach Elementary School. I had went to Applegate. I had gone to some other school. And then the last school I went to was Humboldt. But I got there in like 3rd grade. And so, most of my friends are from Humboldt. My closest friends all came from Humboldt. Like we all grew up in Humboldt. And I went to Tubman. Then I went to Beaumont. Then I went to MLC. And I was like, can you please send me back to Tubman? And so I went back to Tubman. And then from Tubman, I went to Jeff. And so I feel like as a kid, I mean, compared to most of my friends, I moved around a lot. And, but like friends it was different. Like I used to go to my friend's house and you would be, if there was spring break, You wasn't at home on spring break. You was at one of your friends' house, or
Yeah.
it was a group of y'all there,
Yeah.
and that's what y'all did for the summer or for the spring or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You stayed a night. You be there for a whole week.
Yep.
You know, one night turned into 2, 3, 4,
Right.
5 nights, and you just there, and it's just okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it was nothing to be concerned about. You just knew who your friends were.
Right.
I feel like my kids don't never ask if they can go stay the night at a friend's house. They might go stay a night at a cousin's house,
Mm-hmm.
but like not friends, and they don't have friends come over. And it's like, y'all don't have friends like that? Like what? I mean, I don't know. It's just, what are friends? And I think COVID has something to do with that.
I think so.
I think it has a big part in it because for so long the kids didn't socialize, especially in those early years when they were in school, where socializing should have been a thing.
Yeah.
They were just at home on devices, quarantining or staying to themselves. Everybody trying to stay 6 feet and more. Right. And so.
And you had your little quarantine bubbles of people that you hang out with. Like my kids will come stay night at your house. My kids will go stay night at Ari's house. But other than that, like they don't.
Where they going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, if I really need to go out of town, y'all are not available. Ari's not available. What are they gonna do? Well, they could like FaceTime them regularly. Like, listen, I have to do this work thing, but I need to
connect with y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, it's very different. I just thinking about like as like Donald's getting older, he's 16. And just thinking about me like 16 to 18 to 20. I'm kind of scared for him because like he does not have.
He ain't ready.
He's not ready. I'm hoping that one day it'll just click and he'll be ready. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
I don't know if our kids are really moving out at 18.
I don't think so. It's probably going to be like 35 at this rate.
I was honestly surprised when Anthony moved out at 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sad at the same time. You know, you talk about it. I can't wait to be an empty nester. I say that and I truly believe it, right? But at the same time, like, am I really? I ain't gonna kick my kids out.
No,
but I'm gonna be like, "What y'all doing?
Right?
Where y'all? You know?" And I talk to them about this all the time, and they say, "Mom, when we move out, like, we're not gonna be calling, and we're not gonna be like, why would y'all just leave me like that?"
That's what they think.
That's what
you
they
think you move out and you got it and da 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 da. I used to call my mom and ask her things that I knew. So I put the oven on. I knew what to put the oven on, but it was like I'm at home by myself. There's nobody to watch me. There's nobody to check it when I'm in the bathroom. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you think you're not gonna call your mom, but you about to call her about everything. That's how that works.
Well, Anthony don't call me about nothing, and I'm like, the rest of my kids don't grow up and just disappear like that. Is that what's gonna happen?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Lil G, I think he'd be like, I'll take care of you, Mom.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
somebody
Renauda.
think about me.
Renauda says she's going to take care of me. She did get mad at me one day and she's like, I'm going to put you in a home. I said, I'm not going to go. Since you got to drag me out of here, kicking and screaming. And she was messing with me. I don't remember what I said something or did something to her. And she was like, and so that was the first thing that came to her mind. She be talking mess. But I think she would actually be okay and ready to move out, but she's just not going to. She's going to leave because we were talking about it. She's talking about her plans because she's going to Berkeley. So she's going to be a paleontologist. She started the other day. She had a question. She was like, so if I start working right now, do I have to pay taxes right now? And I said, well, first of all, you're 13, so you're not going to be working right now. But if you had a job right now, like, yeah, you got to pay taxes. She said, why? That's just how that works. And she said, so even though I'm not, she got pissed off. So even though I'm not an adult, I have to pay taxes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, you do. And she started thinking, well, she's like, well, I don't know if I want to work. I'm like, excuse me. So you don't want to work because you don't want to pay taxes? Like, I get it, but that's like an odd thought to have at 13. Like, she's talking about her college and then she's like, will I live there or will I like, I said, well, it's however you want to do it. Like, you know, if I'm still in Oregon, that's only a couple hour flight, you know what I'm saying, back and forth. And she was like, so I can come home every weekend if I wanted to.
If you
wanted to, right. Yeah, I don't think you're going to want to. You know, you're going to get out there and, you know, start living your life. But she has a plan. She's going to college. She said, then I'll probably come back here after college, and move back in until I get my life together. Because I say that to them, like, you need to get your life together about whatever it is. So she's like, until I get my life together, I'll come back home. But she has a plan. Donald is like, I don't know, I'll go to college or something. No. Okay. But I'm gonna. So that's why he's gonna get involved in the trades, and he's gonna find something he's interested in, and then he's gonna be a journeyman. Okay. Because that's trade where he chooses. Right. That's where his interest lies. He's just not focused enough or understands enough to really pick a passion. Yeah. So I'm gonna expose him to some stuff. Yeah. Because he likes around the house. He loves being the person that builds stuff and figures out what the problem is and like all that good stuff. He likes being that person. Yeah. So I'm like, that's something you enjoy. It is best to have your career be something that you enjoy. Yeah. So next year he going to that trade school. Yeah. And then he can start his journeyman situation because he need to do something. Well, yeah. As long as he finds one that he likes. I think with the trades, that's the biggest thing. As an electrician, I see a lot of people come in that want to get into the trades, and they see the pay scale of the electrical workers, and they're like, "Oh, I want to be an electrician." And then they come in, and I'm like, "But you're not really. I don't think electrician is it for you." Like, do you really know what that means? That's not just twisting wires together. You got to be under houses and like all kinds of stuff. A lot like of stuff. It's stuff you got to know. You got to really pay attention to. It's not just about the pay, but the trades I wish that they would push the trades in all schools. Yeah, I do. Because my background when going through high school, I knew I wanted to work in construction. I knew that I did. I knew from a young age that I like to build things and I like to work with tools. But I wasn't exposed to a lot of it. I just knew this was something I like to do. It was like any chance I got to go work with some power tools with my dad, I'm going to do it. Like, how can I help Dad? And he would always kind of preference my brother over me. Yeah. Right? And it was like, whatever. I could do this. I used to tell my goddad all the time, if he needed to fix it, you want me to fix it? I can fix it. You want me to fix it? He'd be like, he used to think that was so cute. Like, that's so funny. It's so cute. Like, but for real. Right. So later, once I started really getting into, I learned about this trade and I got into it. And I used to say, like, I think I could build a house. And he used to think that was the funniest thing ever. And now he's like, I really think you really could, but I never really took you serious at it. And it was like, I don't think anybody did. Not on purpose. Because you're a girl. Yeah, it's because I'm a girl and people don't think about this. And that's not something they ever have done. So it's like, sure, But I knew I wanted to work in construction. And the only thing that I knew is that my dad worked in a machine shop. I didn't know anybody who worked in construction. I didn't know how you got into it, none of that. And so back in that day, that was when Yahoo chat rooms was the thing. Yeah. I used to get on Yahoo. You just get on Yahoo, apply for jobs, kind of like Google and all these other websites that are out there and there are platforms. But I used to ask, like, how can I get into this entry-level position? And I send emails and send my resume. And I could never get anything back to say, hey, come apply or come do this or whatever. No information to say how you get started. And then I came across a pre-apprenticeship program. And I came across Oregon Tradeswomen. And at that time, I had a friend in the trade, but she wasn't really a spokesperson for the trade. Like, she was an apprentice, and she really liked what she was doing, but I didn't feel like she did a good job of explaining the process on how you get started or what is required. And so I kind of found that on my own. I sort of knew about it, but I didn't know enough. So when I went through the pre-apprenticeship program, and I learned more about the IBEW and other trades, it was like, okay, this is exactly what I want to do, because I had gone to school to be an engineer. And my mom got sick and I had to quit school. And I always had to quit school because something was going on in life. And it was like, dang, it's like I had to keep starting over. And so, but when I came across this, it was like, this just makes sense. Like, why did nobody come to my school and tell me about this when I was in high school? Yeah. Because I think if I would have gotten started at 18, Yeah.
instead of 30. Like that's a big difference to be making a livable wage that whole time. Like that would have been awesome. But at the same time, you got to be in the right mind space or head space to really have a trade that's paying you that much money.
Yeah.
As a young person, you got to be responsible, and you got to, because you can get off into the wrong thing when you're making too much money because you think you're having fun, and people start experimenting or whatever people start to do.
Yeah.
But I really wish the trades were more visible, because it's a free education a lot of the time. Free education to make a livable wage, like that doesn't make sense
with
to
no
pass
debt.
up.
With no debt.
Yeah, the electrical trade is 5 years. Well, the program I went through was 5 years. We have different programs. There's 3 different programs, but 5 years, and when you're done, journeyman wage right now is like $60.50 or somewhere around there. With no debt. I didn't have to pay for school. I got to learn on the job. Like a lot of the trades are like that, where you get on the job training and you go to school, and maybe you have a tuition, maybe you don't, but it's nothing like college tuition. And you getting paid for every hour that you work in. So as a student, like, why would you not do that? Why would you turn it down? And it's not that people are turning it down. Well, some people are, but a lot of it is people don't know. They don't know about the options.
The only thing they pushed at my school, and I used to think it was just because I was in a military town, but the only thing that they pushed outside of college at my school was going into the military. And they sold you on that. We'll pay for 4 years of college. And I used to want to be a Marine when I was younger. But back then they were disqualifying you for stuff like, oh, you have asthma, you can't go. And I was like, I don't have asthma anymore. They were like, you just had asthma 6 months ago. You can't be a Marine. I was crushed. I wanted to be a Marine. But
Mariah wants to be a Marine, I think.
Yeah. There was something about, I felt like I needed what being a Marine offered. And I was really trying to be somebody's black op something eventually in life. That was my goal. After my career, what do you call them? The guidance counselor at school. Because originally I wanted to be a lawyer. I used to watch like Perry Mason and Matlock and stuff like that with my grandma. And I was going to be the person who was going to get all the innocent people who were accused of stuff off, because she was not about to send my clients to jail. They didn't do it. And I had a really horrible guidance counselor who basically was like, you're going to end up in a strip mall working out of an office that you're struggling to pay for. And
rude.
Yeah. Like there's like, he was basically like, you think you're going to be the next Johnny Cochran, you're not. Like that's basically far and few in between. Lawyers are not successful like that, blah blah blah. And I'm
what kind of guidance counselor is he?
Well, when I look back on it, I think he had a few problems with black folks, and maybe not just black folks, but just people of color, women in general, because other people weren't having that same experience with him. And I was like, even if you say that's the case, like, you know, that test that you take that tells you what you should be into. It said that I should be a public speaker, a lawyer, or a scientist. Like those were like the things that I really scored high in, like public speaker / politics type stuff. Not interested in politics like that. We had that conversation. That's not really my thing. But I was super excited because lawyer, I scored the highest, and he talked me right on out of it, and I'm like, you know, I believed him because he's the guidance counselor. He's supposed to be guiding me. And so then like my whole life, my whole life I wanted to be a lawyer. So then I was lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I was like, well, fuck it. I'll just be a Marine. And because out of all the different branches, I was like, that's the one that spoke to me the most. ROTC is here. Like, you know, they're always in my school recruiting like tough. So I was like, I'll go be a Marine. They're like, nope, sorry, we don't want you. I was like, wow, okay. Can't be a lawyer. Can't be a Marine. I don't know what. I'll just work here and there until I figure it out. And then I stumbled into social services, nonprofit social services, which was I've always been somebody to help people and, trying to help them figure out their life or resources or navigate different things, domestic violence, all this stuff I was doing naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, wait, you can get paid for that? Like, I didn't know people got paid to do that.
Uh-huh.
So once I got into that, like, I have not left. I've been in some sort of helping people thing. The only thing is nonprofit/social services, it does not pay.
Yeah.
Does not pay like that, but you do it because it's a calling.
Right.
But I'm like, I need it to be both.
Right.
And the only way it seems like to really make some money in nonprofit is if you own the nonprofit or you're a part of like some exec team or, senior management or whatever. But they don't get the hands-on with the people. And that's what I want is, excuse me, to stay hands-on in people's lives, helping them. And I don't mean doing stuff for people, but like helping them navigate, being stable and successful on their own. All I want for my kids, saying all that to say, all I want for my kids is for them to be doing something that they're passionate about.
Right.
Because working even if it's the field you want, but it's not the right place, that's miserable. I don't want that for them. And I don't want them doing something they don't like. Like, I don't want them just getting up, clocking in because they got to pay bills.
Right.
I want them to be excited about what they're doing on some level. Like, I'm finally at an agency where I don't wake up in the morning like, ugh.
It's exciting, or it feels better to go to work.
Yes, it feels good to go to work. The energy is good there. The people are good there. They trust you to do the work. Yeah. They don't micromanage you. You do the work or you don't do the work. It's going to show, you know what I'm saying, regardless. And I want that from my kids. Renauda knows she wants to be a paleontologist. I'm not letting nobody take that from her.
Right.
You're going to find a dinosaur. You're going to absolutely find a dinosaur. You're going to name it something crazy because that's who you are as a person. And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Donald, he said he wanted to be an architect because he wants to draw buildings. But he also but I said, do you want to draw the building or do you want to build the building? He's like, well, I want to build the building. I'm like, okay, let's get you in the trades. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like being an architect, unless he's physically building, he's not going to get the satisfaction he wants. Like maybe you could be on some design teams, but you need to be on the ground floor and maybe get that architect degree. So once your body is like, okay, you can't build anymore, then you can switch into full-time design or something. But he likes building things, fixing things, putting things together. When I ordered our new like TV stands and tables and stuff like that, he was like, I'm going to put it together. He got frustrated and then he came back and he put it together and he's like, called me. He's like, I can't do this. And I was like, okay. Then he called me back. I'm done. So this is what I did. And like, you just needed a break. But he likes that stuff. He's determined. So I just want that for them. I don't want them to go through what I went through. Unless it's necessary for their development. But if they know what they want to do, I don't want them to have to do stuff they hate in order to figure it out.
Well, I feel like even though as a kid, how many times you change what you want to do, you know? Like the more you learn, the more you're exposed to other things and the bigger catalog you have to choose from of things to do, you know, the more you change. Because I used to think I want to be a police officer. Then I want to be a lawyer. And then I wanted to be a firefighter. And then I want to be an engineer. And while I think I could do any of those jobs, right? I also like accounting. And I don't mind being a teacher to some degree. But really, it was like in middle school, they introduced us to shop class, right? And so that's where I really I like building and I like, you know, organizing and I like planning. And but then that was very short lived because that was the only time we got introduced to shop class. Yeah. When you get to high school, there's
no shop class anymore.
There's no photography. There's none of that, right? And you get to high school and it's all just math and science and regular classes and like, okay, well, what do I want to do now? I don't know. What is there to do? And there's like career days. Back in the day, I feel like in elementary school, mostly there were career days where people's parents would come and share. Middle school, we didn't get that. High school, we didn't get that. And so, but I think middle and high school is when you're starting to actually make those decisions, right? It's like moving towards something that I'm interested in. this is the time to really introduce kids to those different things so that they can say, you know, what am I interested in? And so making my mind up over changing, you know, it's like I might have been interested in this, but we also have to think about sometimes we're interested in things that ain't gonna get us nowhere, you know, like, and it could just be a hobby. It doesn't have to be your career choice, you know. I feel like doing hair could have been a hobby. I mean, it was okay as a career choice. I made decent money doing it. But at the same time, I could have been doing something else and still doing hair on the side.
Yeah.
And been just fine, you know, because it was more of a creativity thing for me than anything. But I think it's really important to just get them out there to explore and experience different things. The trades are a big one. I see a lot of things geared towards teaching young girls trades, like, you know, Girls Build is mostly for young girls. Oregon Tradeswomen does a lot of stuff for girls or women in the trades. But when it comes to our males, our young Black men especially, we have Constructing Hope, which is a pre-apprenticeship program that is more so geared towards people who have like criminal history and introducing them to society and giving them some more tools. But like in Portland Youth Builders, okay, but there's not a whole lot of other programs that really take the time to teach these kids about the trades, like what they can offer. I don't know, the trades can be life-changing if people are really into it. To, you know, like that's how I bought my first house, as an apprentice. You know, it's like I'm a student. I don't even make half of what a journeyman makes, but now I can afford a home. You know, out of all the jobs I had before, I could never do that. I could never buy a house until I got into the trades. And so I really encourage kids these days the trades are where they're at. They're going to pay you to learn and they can never take it away from you. It's yours. And no matter if you here or you move somewhere else, that information is yours to have. So
that's why I think it'll be beneficial for him.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I just like the building.
Yeah.
Yeah. Using my hands, being constructive. Now, not so much. I don't know. It's different because I'm not in the field. I'm a teacher, instructor. I call myself not a teacher. I feel like teachers have degrees, right? Instructors
have knowledge.
We have knowledge, yeah. And we go to school to be an instructor once every year. We go to school for a week and we complete a program. You got to do that for 4 years. And you get a certification at the end of it. But you're a teacher the whole time. It's not like you can't teach till after. You're teaching. You learn on the job a lot of times, just like what we do in the industry. That's how we do our instructors. Get out there. They give you the curriculum. It's your job to present it and figure it out, you know, whatever works best for you. But it's not as enjoyable as being out in the field. You know, I sometimes feel like, I don't know. I'm losing my interest in the industry because I don't feel as engaged sometimes in my job, or I feel taken for granted, or, you know, judged a lot of times, or a lot of the things that Black women tend to face in the workplace that kind of pushes you away from it, you know, like it just becomes less interesting over time.
Yeah.
That's where I feel like I'm at right now. So I'm ready for some change.
I am too. I mean, I love my job where I'm at, but I am.
But I think you should be a lawyer now.
So I still want to be a lawyer. Like I still really, really do. But I'm like, I'm about to be 42 in September. That's what Renauda said. And I was like, but it's going to take me 7 years to get through school. And she was like, okay. And I was like, you don't think that'll be weird? Like by the time I get out of school, it'll be 49.
So?
That's what she said. And I was like, okay. So I was supposed to start this summer, but I was like, I'm going to probably wait till September and then just start taking classes again.
Yeah.
And do it because I still like that want to be a lawyer never went away.
Yeah, I think you should.
But I also think that, you know, life happens how it's supposed to happen for a reason, right? Like I'm one of the people who believe you signed up for how your life went. before you got here.
Yeah.
So I had to go through all these things. I had to make these decisions. And I think that everything I experienced from the domestic violence to not really bouncing around between careers to getting into social services. I've done energy assistance. I've done housing. I've done domestic violence services. I've done employment services. I've done helping elders and vets and, people on SNAP and get their medical, like all this different stuff. I needed all that to understand people better.
Mm-hmm.
Because young me was a very not gullible, but naive, right? Like I was having a conversation with somebody, like if somebody says this is who they say they are, I just believed that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I had no reason to think that you were pretending to be somebody else, because that's not who I am. I show up as Renauda everywhere I go. If I'm not showing up as Renauda, I'm showing up as La Libra. Same person, it's just she's a little more outgoing than Renauda. You know what I'm saying? But I needed to experience people, places, and things in order to get me like this full view of how people can be.
Yeah.
In order to better serve people. I feel like I am here to be of service in some way, shape, or form. And I do still really want to be a lawyer. And it's always nagged at the back of me. Like, how would my life be different if I was a lawyer? But if I had already been a lawyer, I wouldn't have my daughter.
Right.
Because I wouldn't have came back here. When I came back here, I wouldn't have met her dad. She would not be here. I may have a child, but it may look very different. And then also with the other struggles I have with even being able to carry, to, a live birth, like the stress of being a lawyer, would I've been able to also, get through having a child? I might not have kids at all. Then I wouldn't have been here to be able to get Donald. Like all this stuff would have been so different. I don't know if I would have been in the Northwest, period.
Yeah.
But I needed my journey to be the way that it is, and it's not too late. But then I also feel like I could end up in a courtroom as a 50-year-old against a real seasoned 30-year-old. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you're seasoned in law. I would have just learned my stuff, but also I'm seasoned in life too. So, certain things don't make sense. You can, I do that to people. Like I lawyer people a lot, like obviously without the legalities, but like what you said don't make sense. So I'll let people tell their whole story and I'm like, so, and then people like they hate it. But at the same time, if you're going to lie, make it make sense. That's been my tagline for a while. People be like, you say that all the time. Like if you can make it make sense, then okay. But if it don't make sense, I can't just sit with that.
Right.
So I don't know. I do want to still be the little girl who wants to help innocent people not go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Or get out of jail. That's still a passion of mine. So come September, I'm going to get back at it. I was going to do it this June, like I said, but I was like, I don't want to be working and going to school in the summer when my kids are out of school.
Right. So
I'm going to do it September and get it started.
I like it. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready for change too, but I don't know what I'm going to do next.
Yeah.
I'm ready to do something though. I got to get out this building. But we're coming up on our hour.
Oh, okay.
That went by so fast. I don't know.
Did.
I guess maybe we should do more of these, like, just let them get to know who we are.
Okay.
Right? And then we got to keep working on our guests and keeping them
on track.
On track. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharing information that people want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what are we gonna? I feel like if you want to go outside, you can go outside.
If your friends shouldn't be outside, don't let them go outside.
Or you come sit with them.
Come sit with them on their deck or their patio,
sit
whatever.
Outside with them. I've only had one other friend who came and sat with me during COVID. My friend Colette. She came to my house. We had pulled up some chairs outside the fence on Saratoga. We sat outside the fence talking for hours in the middle of COVID because we was like, I want to see my friends, right?
That's what we used to do.
But that's what it reminded me of yesterday when you came by. I was like, oh, Renauda came all the way out here to keep me inside because I want to go outside.
She was trying to get outside.
But I feel like take care of yourself.
Yes.
Don't be in denial. I've been drinking lots of tea and honey and oatmeal because the oatmeal makes my throat feel better. But I'm like, I still want to go outside. But I'm outside. I'm with Renauda.
You kind of outside. You're not outside.
I'm just going to kidnap Renauda whenever I'm like, come on,
just
Renauda.
Like her husband.
Yep. Just come on. Just come on.
So my gym is, speaking of like going back to school and stuff like that, like it's never too late for your passions. Like whatever it is you want to do, as long as you got breath, you got action. So if like I feel like I am 42 years old. This has been nagging at me for at least 35 years, you know what I'm saying? Or longer. You can still do it. You got time. And I feel like too, when people be like, "Oh, you're 40 years old, you shouldn't be rapping." If you 55 and you decide you want to be a rapper today, go rap. Because there's an audience for everybody. There's music that I don't understand and I don't listen to, but somebody like it. Thanks. So I hate when people be like, "Oh, they're 40, they need to stop rapping," or "Oh, why?" You don't tell people who are singing that they shouldn't be singing at it's too late and this, that, and other. Whatever your passion is, go after it. I mean, use common sense and take care of your responsibilities, at all times, but go after whatever your passions is. I don't care what it is. Let go of what people are saying. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Do what's best for you, and it's not too late.
Thanks. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for checking in.
Yep.
Joining us on Talk to Them.
And we will see you next time.